So yesterday we were on the water, we were traveling back from Hartley Bay, and we received a radio call from a colleague of ours, Eric Keane, and he called to say that he had just spotted a group of orcas that were hunting after a seal, and they actually, in the chase of trying to get the seal, one of the juvenile transient orcas actually beached herself, and he realized she was in really deep trouble.
The swift action from the Hartley Bay Guardians, from Eric Keane that was already on the scene, the swift thinking of Eric to involve other people in this, and then us arriving at the scene as well. I mean, that shows on how swiftly this community up here can get together, even though we are so remote.
But by the time we got there, the tide was already going down, and so we realized we had a problem. Eric got the water pump working, and Herman had the hose, and he was just constantly spraying her, just very slowly and gently. But she was a little bit stressed. You could tell by her breathing. Her eye was open, and you try to imagine what that would have been like for her. Here's this creature that's so used to having total freedom of movement, and all of a sudden she's on land, she can't move, she has this other species so close to her walking around, and she can't do anything, and she must have been terrified. The worst day of her life, most likely. So we did everything we could to not have more of an effect on that really bad situation. And then she finally closed her eye, and it was as if she just took this giant breath and she just relaxed. And it's as if in that moment she recognized that we were there trying to help her. Until the tide got high enough that we recognized that we should get offshore. Because once the tide was high enough that she could move a little bit, we didn't want her to leave before she should, because then she could really, really hurt herself. And as the water was rising, she became very vocal. She was vocalizing, and it went through your body, through your heart, because she was upset. She kept putting her tail up, and it would come down. Her tail up, and it would come down. What she was probably doing was checking the height of the water, waiting for that moment that she could take off. And then all of a sudden she lifted her tail, and it hardly came out of the water. She put it back down under the water, and then 2 strokes, one, and on the second one she was off. Yes. She was free. We were screaming from shore. We were just so excited, and she went like a bullet. At the same time, on one of the boats, they had put a hydrophone in the water. She was calling, calling, calling. There was no doubt that she was looking for her family. And then all of a sudden we heard a real distant call. And we realized that they were still there, and that's the direction she went, and she just took off. And in that moment, I think we were all very proud to be a part of such a strong community that came together so fast as a team to try and protect this very young whale.
I mean, the location on where this whale stranded is just north of a proposed tanker route for the Northern Gateway project and for proposed energy projects. So, you know, rescuing a whale within that proposed tanker route, it has a special meaning to us, because it just, you know, it just shows to us and how precious this area is, how important it is to these whales, and then just giving a whale another chance in this area is just very, very important to us.
So here we are trying to protect this little whale, this tiny little community, and we realize that, you know, if any of these projects go through, we might be doing this on a daily basis. And how are these whales supposed to thrive in an area where right now it's home, there's food, it's quiet? And I think that watching everybody come together and how excited everybody became about this whale being rescued, they have to then really think, do we really want these tankers going through the area where this little whale just beached herself? Of course we don't. We really don't. And I think that's the message that came through this entire event.